makes us different? A lot of us know what we need to do. Who would say you kind of know what you need to do to produce?
Yeah.
If we had a piece of paper and we were to write down what we think is the absolute, I guess I would ask, who is the top person in this office? Or in this company, Sotheby's, nationwide? Who's the single top producer? Or the single top #1 office? You have it in mind, right? If you were to take a piece of paper, and that's what really this is about, if you were to take a piece of paper and write down what you believe that person does that makes them the #1 producer, not just in this office, but maybe in the whole Sotheby's brand. And if you were tasked to kind of write down what you think they do on a daily basis, how many of us would be able to write some stuff down? That you kind of know what they do. Maybe we've heard them speak, yes? One of our agents we work with is Marty Rodriguez. Marty Rodriguez has not made less than $2.5 million every single year for the last 30 years in this business. Even in a recession, she made $2.5 million, right? So we could write down what we know they do, correct? Put our hands up if you kind of could write down what you know they do. Because maybe they've actually told you, this is what I do, yes? How many of us can keep our hand raised? Let's be honest, me included. How many of us can keep our hand raised and say we're actually doing that whole list right now?
Right.
We know exactly what we need to do. We don't need another real estate coach to tell us what to do. We already have the best coaches, the best leaders telling us what to do, yes?
Yes.
But yet we don't do it. Some of us do it. Some of us do it maybe 80%, 60%, 50%, 40%, 30%. Some of us don't do it at all. Make sense?
Yes.
So the difference between going to a seminar where the person gives you the fish, how many of us have been motivated, inspired for 30, 60, 90 days?
Sure.
And been and produced really high at some point in your life, but it hasn't been sustainable. Make sense?
Yep.
Instead of giving us fish, we want to teach us how to fish, how to be self-generated, self-motivated. That's #1. #2, we know what we need to do. We want to help fix that gap. Make sense? How many of us know someone that has so much potential, could be making $1 million a year, $2 million a year, but there's something that's in their way called procrastination. Or I'm doing good. Who's doing good? We're all doing good. Yes? How many of us would like to be able to double that? I know what I need to do, and I do it. The other thing, too, I'm really giving you the bullet points of what we're going to be covering tomorrow. How many of us have scripts? We've been told this is the script. And does that script work with everybody all the time?
No.
We know it doesn't. How many of us have learned how to speak into the listening of the client? To take into account not just the different personality types, we already know about the drivers, the fun-loving influencers, you know, the sharks, the whales, and all the different personality types, but how about actually speaking into their neurology? How many of us know people that are very visual, very auditory, very kinesthetic, they're very feeling-based, they're very analytical, and how many of us would like to learn, who would like to learn the keywords to actually land into the listening of each client you have, knowing exactly who they are before you actually communicate with them? Would that be powerful? And one last thing, which blows my mind. NLP has studied the car industry and real estate industry for over 75, 80 some years. And we've seen patterns in human decision making. Do you know that each one of us buys exactly the same way every single time? And I know that may be shocking for someone that I would buy a pair of shoes the same way I buy a house. That's impossible. No. I would sell my house the exact same way I sell my car, the exact same way I sell something on eBay or whatever. That's impossible. It actually is a fact. There is a buying strategy and selling strategy that is in every single human being, that these are your customers, and if you were to discover where their buying strategy and their selling strategy is by simple key questions, you'd find out their actual pattern for making a decision and taking action. And then you could actually speak to that. I'll share one more thing with you. How many of us, when you see something, you like it, you buy it? You don't compare it to anything else. You know exactly what you want. You go for it, you see it, you buy it. Done. Look around the room. 30-40% of the room. How many of us, no matter what, you see something, you like it, you ain't buying it? Absolutely not. You're going to compare it to 2 things, or 3 things, or 4 things. Haha, come on now. Yes? They call it the convincer. How many times your client has to go through their strategy, even when you've given them exactly what they want. Have you ever given someone exactly what they want, but they still didn't take action, and you can't figure out why? And you walk away not knowing what just happened, and you just lost money. Because there are people that have a one convincer. They see the first thing, they buy it. And if you don't show them the very first thing that they want, they're out. You got to give it to them right away. There are people that have a 2 convincer. They need to see something compared to 2 things. People have a 3 convincer, 4 convincer, 5 convincers. This is actually simple human neurology, nervous system, the way we're programmed. So who would like to learn that? To learn how many convincers your clients have up front in advance, so you know you can tailor your communication exactly to what they mean, and now you have no excuses why you didn't close a deal. Yes? Yes. That's just in a snippet. Covering the 4 points again, Julie said, hey, how are you different, Kaya? How's this company different? What are you going to do different? We're not going to come somewhere and get nuggets just that last for a certain amount of time. We're going to download this to you so you have this for the rest of your life. Teach you how to fish. Right? That's number 1. Number 2, we all know what we need to do. We all know exactly what we need to do to be the number 1 person in this office, the number 1 person in the brand. We actually can write a list of what that is, but we still don't do it. What's in the gap? Procrastination, fear, my life, my kids, just stuff. Who's got stuff? We got stuff. But that stuff is limiting our results. Does that make sense? And by the way, when I speak to you, I'm speaking to me for 33 years. So I was blocked for 33 years. So I totally get it myself. And then number 3, which is how to speak into the listening. How to take your script, the great scripts that you already have, and tailor it specifically to the clients such that you're hitting the trigger words. Not the words that the script says you tell everybody. Because the trigger word that works for you, miss, what's your name?
Cindy.
Cindy is completely different than the trigger word that works for you. What's your name, sir? Paul and? Joanne. She has a different word, you have a different word, you have a different word. And actually this is simplified into 5 different groups of people who like to learn something that's very simple and easy to do. Easy to learn to make more money. So we invite you tomorrow at 12 to 1:30.
Correct.
Where specifically? Not in
Right here, right there.
Right in that room. We're going to spend 99% of the time giving you these tools, and of course at the end we will invite you to an event, a 2-day event that's coming up in October or in November or in January, and it's totally up to you if you want to take that next step. Most people absolutely do, and it's a very nominal fee, so it's a no-brainer. Make sense? So you'll walk away with a massive breakthrough. I guarantee you. 90 minutes, we promise you'll walk away with a massive breakthrough. Thank you so much, Patricia.